It's Michelle again. Used to be Blindish Michelle, but it's no longer Blindish Michelle. I haven't made any videos recently because I've been focusing on number one, my father who had a stroke recently, was living here with my husband and I, and now he's been in a rehab facility for a while, and now he's going to end up being in a long-term care, which is really much better for him since I'm not really set up to provide the level of care that he needs. And anyway, I've also been focusing on getting my eyesight back, so I wouldn't be saying blindish Michelle. So I've been spending a lot of time on that, and I'm no longer blind. I can be happy to tell you. But I just wanted to say a few things, and the reason that I'm popping in right now is because um, I have a quiet moment in the house, and I just wanted to uh, speak up a little about this flat Earth thing. And pardon the creaky floors. This is an old house. This is the bar. There's my orange drink. No, it does not have vodka in it. I wish it did. I'm going to drink some. Anyhow, I wanted to say a few things about this. Before, my other videos were really focused on Tiger Dan and his turnaround and all that stuff about this flat Earth and calling everybody liars and then just being kind of hypocritical. Oh, that's just a bunch of crap. So I'm not going to focus on that anymore. I just did because I wanted to showcase really how disinfo agents work. And now he's just disappeared off the radar, but he probably has reincarnated himself as somebody else on YouTube. Who knows? Who cares? Now I know this flat Earth thing has kind of gone way off the map. There's people who are kind of congregating themselves into this faction or that faction. There's a certain group that are consider themselves the leaders of the flat Earth quote movement or whatever you might want to call it, whatever it may be. I don't consider it a movement. I consider it a revelation. I consider it an awakening. I don't think you need leaders for an awakening, especially not leaders who line themselves up to be in an entertainment sort of mode concerning something that's very serious. And that has nothing, I'm not saying anything bad about anybody doing that. I think that it's really wonderful what, the lengths that people are taking to promote this and to make people understand it, to bring it to light. And something that I wanted to mention too, I'm just going to wander around. I'm going to wander around my whole house this time. One thing I wanted to bring to light a little bit about awakening. Now, I've been going through years and years of diminishing eyesight, and I didn't really notice it that much because it happened so slowly, so gradually over the years. Until the last few years where it really accelerated. And the last 2 years, I've been almost completely blind. Well, not completely because I could read and things like that, but things had to be incredibly enhanced for me to be able to see it. It was like I'm walking around my house thinking it's perfectly clean, but I saw everything in a really soft, super soft focus, like looking through a thick piece of gauze. Everything looked surreal and beautiful because I couldn't really see it. And then when the blinders were off, when I had the first operation on my eye, one of my eyes, and I came home, and hour by hour by hour, things started to be clearer and clearer and clearer. And then, all of a sudden, I started to see the dirt and the grime and the dust that had built up over that time that my husband, by the way, didn't seem to notice. I guess men just don't really care about those things. Some. But I think it's kind of similar when you awaken from the darkness of misinformation, disinformation, things you've been taught over the years that are completely 100% wrong. complete lies. When you start to wake up, and this is what happened to me the first day when I came home after being able to see out of one eye for the first time, when things are being clarified hour by hour by hour by hour. It's almost too much. It's almost too much. I had to keep the blinds closed. I had to be in the darkness because I couldn't take that light that I wasn't used to seeing. And I think that's what it's like for a lot of people when you start exposing them to the truth. It can't be all at once because they're not going to be able to take it. And that's not how the truth came to me over the years either. Not all at once, because I wouldn't have been able to take it. It had to be a gradual process. It had to sink in for me. I had to be ready to hear it. I had to be ready to listen. And this is what is going to happen with this truth also, with this awakening, because that's what it is. You're awakening to a truth that is almost too difficult to bear because it is so anathema to everything you've been taught throughout your life that it's really almost too bright. You kind of have to close the blinds, at least one. So then, after I got used to being able to see throughout 1 week, I went back for the operation on the other eye. And when I got home, things were being clarified a little bit differently, but it still was hour by hour by hour. I could see clearer and clearer and clearer. So I'm just going to drab. You think there's vodka in there? It's orange juice and ice, okay? We should have some vodka or something. But anyway, I just wanted to kind of give my perspective, and I know nobody really cares. Nobody asked. Hey, Michelle, what's your perspective? Oh, excellent. I'll tell you since you asked. Well, I'll tell you since you didn't ask. My perspective is this. Okay? See out this bright sunshine. For me, when I first came into being able to see with my eyes, my physical eyes, it was too bright. And because I haven't been able to see for so long, I started looking at things from a different perspective, not from a perspective of physical sight, but from a perspective of insight in the mind. And these things are not unrelated. Physical eyesight and the mind. Because I also noticed that when I was blind, if I walked into a room, for example, when I would walk into this room, now this is the kitchen. I would walk into this room. Please excuse the mess. I know, miles of counter space and it's all full. My husband could be standing like over here. And I would not be able to see him. But if I knew that he was there, slowly my mind would work it out. And all of a sudden I could physically see him. That's not a lie. That's how it worked for me. So I know, because of personal experience, that the mind's eye and the physical eye work together to be able to see. How can you make people see the truth, working those two things together? That's a good question. But anyway, I guess this is a long treatise on something that really isn't important. But to me it is. Because the flat earth, I mean, this thing, a lot of people like Max Egan and all these other who knows who, want to present this whole thing as a distraction to move people away from what's really going on in the world. You don't think I know what's going on in the world, Mr. Egan? You think I'm stupid enough to pay attention to one thing only? No. People who are into, or who have come into the understanding with an open mind that the earth is indeed not moving, and it is not, I'm not going to say round, it's not spherical. Round and circular can mean the same thing. So when people say it's either flat or it's round, well, no, it can be flat and round at the same time. So please, that's just one of my pet peeves. Like people who say, I could care less. Wait a minute. If you could care less, that means you care somewhat. It's I couldn't care less. That's the proper way to say that. So that always aggravates me. I know, stupid. But I just think that people need to put this kind of thing in perspective. This is not, I mean, look at that. I couldn't even see for the longest time. I still have autumn decorations up there on the mantle. Can you believe that? All right. People need to understand that this is not a distraction. This, everything else is a distraction from this. Everything else is a distraction from the absolute truth of this world, of our creation, of our creator, of who we are. I could argue the opposite of Max Egan. No, this is not a distraction from what's going on in the world. What's going on in the world is a distraction from this.